so this lesson I'm going to be talking about the circles that are involved in the conic section. So we're going to be talking or discussing about the equation of a circle. And you can use the handout that was on your desk. The equation of a circle, first off, the definition is just a set of all the points in a plane that are equidistant from a given point in that plane. So that given point is going to be our center, and that definition is on your handout. It says any segments whose endpoints are the center and a point on a circle is the radius of the circle. And that's just basic knowledge from what we've already learned from middle school and geometry and algebra 2 about circles. So the equation of a circle that you see on your handout has a center at HK with a radius of r units. And we have this equation, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to the radius squared. So this is different than a hyperbola and an ellipse. Hyperbola and ellipse has to be equal to 1. Well, now we're letting it equal the radius squared. So an example of what we're going to work some of these, we have write the equation of a circle whose center is at 4, -3. So that's my center. And the circle passes through the point 1, 2. So it passes through that point 1, 2. Okay, so first off, I know this part. I know the x minus 4 squared plus y plus 3 squared. That's easy because I was given the center. So x minus 4 squared plus y minus a -3 is y plus 3 squared is equal to, I don't have the radius. But if we draw a sketch of this and we know that the center is at 4, -3, and it passes through point 1, 2. That means that the circle is going through that point 1, 2, and it has a radius from the center to that point. So I can easily find the radius, the distance of the radius, by using the distance formula. This would be 1, 2, and this is 4, -3. So I just need the distance of the radius. So I'm looking for the radius. So I'm going to use the distance formula. So we need the distance for the radius. So the square root of 1 minus 4 is -3 squared, and 2 minus -3 is 5 squared. So that would be the square root of 9 plus 25, and 9 plus 25 is root 34. So my radius is the square root of 34. Now, your formula, it doesn't ask for the radius, it says the radius squared. So to find r squared, I would say r squared is equal to root 34 squared, which is 34. So this equation of the circle would be x minus 4 squared plus y plus 3 squared is equal to the radius squared, which is just 34. So my answer is here. I have found the center. It was given to us. We found the distance of the radius, the length of the radius, and then we squared it. So this would be our answer. What if we're not given the center? And we have to find the equation of the circle. In this next example, we're given a long equation, and we have to put it in standard form in order to be able to find the things that we need. So I'm going to use, this is number 1 off of a worksheet that you're going to do today. It's 8x plus x squared minus 2y is equal to 64 minus y squared. Well, I asked, what's wrong with this? Well, we can't have it equal to 64 minus y squared. The y squared has to be on the left side of that equation with the x squared, the 8x, and the -2y. The 64 does need to stay where it's at, so I need to add. So I would have x squared plus 8x. I'm going to leave a space, and then y squared, because I added it to both sides, minus 2y, leave a space, is equal to 64. 64 was already there. I don't drop it. Make sure you keep it there. So now I'm just going to complete the square. We know how to complete the square. We've been doing it for a while. Half of 8 is 4. 4 squared is 16. If I'm going to add 16 to this side, then I also have to add it to this side. Over here, half of b is negative 2. B is negative 2. Half of b is negative 1. And then square that, we get 1. I didn't add anything. I didn't pull out a factor. So I'm just going to put the plus 1 that I placed on my left-hand side. I also need to place it on the right-hand side. Remember, if we would have factored out something, we would have had to have said 4 times that number, or 3. Whatever we factored out, it has to also be looked at on the right-hand side of the equation. So now we can say x plus 4 squared plus y minus 1 squared is equal to 64 plus 16 plus 1 is 81. And I have written the equation of the circle. I could easily identify the center as negative 4, 1, and the radius as 9, because r squared is 81, so therefore r is 9. So this is the equation of the circle. If I wanted to graph that, it doesn't ask me to graph it, but if I wanted to graph it, it'd be real short and easy to graph this image. We know that the center is at negative 4, 1. And from that point, I have a radius that has a measurement of 9. So I'm going to go from that point, I need to go up 9, left 9, right 9, down 9. And so I would go up my 9 points. That would be all the way up to 10. And then I would need to go left 9, right 9, and down 9. So down here at 8, I would have a point. And from negative 4 minus 9, go up 1, sorry. And then I would go right 9. So I would be at negative 4 plus 9, which is 5. And then I have the equation of the circle. Now I can't really draw that with this utensil, but we would see the equation of the circle. And there's my center with a radius of 9. All right, last example. What does it mean if something is tangent to the circle? Well, tangent just means it's touching it. It's touching it at that point. So this is number 22 from your worksheet from CUDA software. They tell us that we have a center at negative 2, 12, and it's tangent to x equals negative 5. So if I draw a sketch of that, I sketch negative 2, 12, so left 2, up 12. So there's my center. It's tangent to negative 5. That means that it's not going to cross negative 5. It's just touching negative 5. So here is where it's tangent to. That's all we know. It's just touching this equation, x equals negative 5. Oops. So that equation, x equals negative 5, looks like this. Let's make that an auxiliary line. So the circle is touching that line. What does that help us? Well, it helps us a lot. It helps us find, we already know the center. It gives us the radius. Because from that tangent, x equals negative 5, to the center, what is the distance there? Well, the distance is 3. You go over 3 units. From negative 2 to negative 5 is 3. So my radius now is 3. Because I know the radius from the center to that tangent line is 3. That gives me my radius. So I now have the radius is 3, so r squared is 9. I can write the equation of the circle. X minus negative 2 would be x plus 2 squared. And then plus y minus 12 squared is equal to r squared, which was 9. So this would be the equation of the circle. So from this, you have several handouts to work on. You have one that has the solutions to it, and on that worksheet, you're going to do 1 through 24, and then you have another worksheet that has multiple things on there from the circle notes. So just today is on circles, and then tomorrow we're going to put all of them together, and you have to be able to compare circles to hyperbolas, to ellipse, to parabolas. So you'll have to be able to identify when you use what based off of the equations that are given. So today is just circles, tomorrow is all of the conics.